Hello, I'm Rob Phillips, and welcome to my channel. When was the last time you truly paused? When was the last time you took a truly deep breath? If you're like most people, it's probably been way too long. So today I'm going to do a practice that's all about the simple intention of pausing, of breathing, of being here in this moment, so that you can find space not just in the body, not just in the mind, but really the nice pause that we all need in the frantic pace of our daily lives. So for today, as I usually recommend for my classes, we're going to be using a blanket, we're going to be using a couple of blocks. As always, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, consider subscribing to my channel. And finally, if you'd like to go deeper into the practices of Yin Yoga and meditation, consider taking my free course, the Embodied Mindfulness Method. You'll find a link down below. Otherwise, though, when you're ready to get started here, please gather all of your props. We're going to begin in a comfortable seat. So I like to sit up on a blanket. I like to give myself a base and a cushion. You might consider doing something similar. Hands could rest on the knees and the lap, wherever feels good for you. But find a place to sit here and make sure you're comfortable. We're going to be here for a few minutes. And relax the shoulders and the neck. And align your spine so it stacks nice and tall here. Close your eyes and feel a sense of arriving. Feel a sense of being here. And even acknowledge that in this very first moment, we've already completed the intention of our practice. We've taken a moment to pause and to be here. But of course, while each moment is wonderful in and of itself, we're going to let these compound. We're going to let these continue to build throughout the class. And so here, as we settle, as we land into this starting meditation, let's use our breath in this really direct way. I'd like you to take a nice deep inhale breath through the nose. Open up your mouth, exhale, and let it go. Let's do that again here. Take a nice deep inhale. Open up your mouth, exhale, and let it go. Final time here. Take that nice deep inhale. Open up your mouth, exhale, let it go. And just feel how that simple practice has already started to calm the nervous system. Already allow the body to relax and to settle just a little bit more. One of the reasons why working with the breath is so powerful is it does help to balance the nervous system. It does help to regulate the actual physical response of the body through what's arising. Today we're going to tap into that pretty directly. It's going to be our main focus for sure. And so I'd like to settle here for just another minute or so, and the way we're going to work with the breath is a little different than most of my practices. Today, I'd like you to invite the breath specifically to deepen just a little bit. I want you to feel a little more volume of air moving and circulating in your body. I want you to feel those waves, those rises and falls. And so just by breathing a little more fully, just by connecting and truly noticing our breath, again, we're getting this rebalancing. We're helping ourselves refocus in this moment. Taking the simple time to pause and to breathe is infinitely powerful, more so than you might expect. So why don't you take just a final 2 or 3 breaths here, or more breaths anyway, and feel the sense of landing, the sense of truly arriving for our practice. Let's take a nice deep inhale breath one more time through our nose. Gentle exhale breath out our mouth. Lower our chin down. We'll begin to open our eyes and From here, we'll set up for the first proper pose for today. We're going to begin in a wide-kneed version of a child's pose. So to set this up, in general, I would encourage you to use a blanket. You're going to want to pad the knees and give yourself some cushion. Do keep in mind, if you don't have a blanket available, you could always turn your mat sideways, double it up. If you're practicing on carpet, it might be less needed anyway, but you want to make sure that you have some cushion for your knees one way or another. So you're going to set up towards child's pose. We separate the thighs wide here. We sit the hips back. And again, if you need extra support, blanket, something under the knees, use as much as you need here. Or feel free to keep it fairly minimal like I'm doing. Like I'm doing for my demo. And then we relax the chest forwards. Now, just because I'm wearing a microphone, I'm going to hold myself up a tiny bit, but I'd encourage you as you practice at home to actually truly relax completely here, to truly let the body settle. And remember, as we dial in these poses, that the idea is we want to feel the pose. We want to work with a bit of sensation. But we never want to push the body into a point where we might be harming it, where we might be doing too much. So if you feel anything at all that becomes sharp, focused, intense, you're going to want to listen to that, and you may need to back a bit out. You may need to micro adjust. You may need to use more props. Just always remember here to keep your body safe. Let that truly be your number one intention. As you find that alignment, we relax the body. We become relatively still. This practice is, in essence, a chance to slow down, a chance to pause and make space. And to really work with both the body and mind in a more gradual, patient sort of way. So again, keep that core principle in mind. Always keep the body safe. Never ask the body to do more than feels reasonable. But as you find your reasonable edge, let the body relax. Let the body land and settle into this. And come back to this emphasis on our breathing. This sense of feeling breath as a primary focus. And whereas for most of my classes, I recommend a more passive breath, one that kind of moves on its own. Like I said in the introduction today, I'd actually invite you to slightly deepen the breath. To just move a little bit more volume of air and to move it in a really smooth and steady way. So that you'll feel here that each time you inhale, the body expands or grows a little bit. That each time that you exhale, the body will soften and it will settle a little bit. So that just by working with our breath here, we're creating subtle movements. The practice is never stagnant because the breath creates a sense of fluidity within it. So here as you are, I'd like you to take just one more complete breath. And carefully from there, begin to find your way out so you can shift and make your way all the way forwards. Or where we're going, if you have a blanket, kind of like mine is here, you could even leave that in place. That could feel good under the hips. We're going to stay on our belly here. And again, just because I have my mic on my chest, I'm going to lift my chest up a tiny bit here, but I'd invite you to relax completely, to really settle down and just feel that release in the legs. Feel the release in the hips, the lower body especially. Pause here and breathe. Feel those cycles. Feel those waves of energy, and Again, relax the body so much that the breath naturally becomes full and dynamic. Naturally, you're moving these waves of energy through the body here. Now let's once again take this deep inhale breath through our nose. And open up the mouth and exhale to let that out. Now we're going to remain on our belly and we're going to set up into what we call open wing pose. We're going to start with our left arm. So if you know open wing, of course, come in. Just starting my timer before we get in there. There we go. Oh, there we go. So for open wing, you'll take your left arm out by your side and it's about level with the shoulder. The palm is facing down. And then you'll roll over towards the left until you start to feel a nice release happening on that inner left shoulder up into the chest. If your neck is uncomfortable, you may need to slide a blanket or some prop underneath it. Legs can do whatever is comfortable, but make sure they're relaxed. They could be bent or straight. I personally like to kind of like flip over a bit like this. And then your other hand, the right hand, could either be in front of you, or I personally like to kind of hook it around my back. So like everything here, we have lots of options to consider. I want you to notice how your body feels and adapt and adjust a bit as you need to in response to that. Relax into the pose, settle, find this reasonable edge of intensity, of sensation. Breathe fully here. This shape especially, we can actually feel the breath interact directly with the pose. The breath will be moving into the chest, into the shoulders, so that as you breathe smoothly and steadily here, you're naturally creating some cycles and waves. You're naturally inviting the energy to move and circulate into the areas that the pose is targeting. And just remember that breath truly is a manifestation of subtle energy. Breath creates fluidity and movement within our bodies. So keep coming back to this idea. Can you pause? Can you breathe? And can you appreciate the immense power of doing just that? For now, our time on this side is up. Let's take one more breath and slowly roll your way back into the center. And what can be a nice complementary pose for this is to take your arms back, to turn over onto your other cheek. I'm going to try to keep my sound clear. I'm going to raise up a little bit, but find what works well for you. Be there in that shape. But either way, you'll want to feel that nice resonance, that nice, almost like reverb, especially on that left side shoulder. Deep, smooth, steady breaths. Let those waves of energy cycle. Let everything kind of flow within your body here. Notice how by connecting with the breath, by slowing down, the mind becomes more present. We gradually feel more and more aware here within our actual experience. Let's find our way, of course, into the second side of that. So when you're ready to here, And begin to open your right arm out by your side. And again, as you line this up, the palm should be like more or less level with the shoulder. You can roll over and fine tune a little bit along the way as you need to. Remember, you'll want to make sure that the neck is relaxed here. You could arrange the legs however feels comfortable for your body here. And I'm going to hook my left arm around the back. That feels good for me, but if that doesn't feel good for you, of course, you don't have to do that. But as you close your eyes, as you really settle here, feel the body respond. Feel the body release and open up over time. And feel the waves, feel the movement of your breath here. Feel how it all naturally cycles for you here. Appreciate this rare opportunity to pause, to breathe, to slow down in a way that, unfortunately, is all too rare these days, right? But here in this Yin Yoga class, we get a chance to do that. We get a chance to really take our time. For now here, let's take a final complete breath, just like we are. You can slowly roll your way out of the pose, find your way back onto the center of the chest, and consider again maybe taking the arms back, maybe flipping over on your other side cheek. Or if you'd like, you can just kind of rest the forehead on the hands. But again, like always here, trust your intuition. Find a neutral shape that makes sense for your body and breathe gently there. I'd say, especially in these neutral poses, let those waves of breath guide you through. And really perhaps get a sense of the energetics of this, that deeper, more subtle work going on. Let's take a nice long inhale breath through our nose. And open up our mouth to exhale and to let that out. From here, you'll use your hands and gently press the hips back, finding a child's pose for a few moments. Just kind of passing through here, but feel this moment in time. Take this moment while you're here, of course. Slowly begin to sit up. And from here, we're going to set up into a seated position. So as you come up, I'd recommend folding your blanket, making a base, making a cushion for yourself. Actually, my blanket's looking a little wonky here. There we go. I'm going to neaten that out. Got to have a nice smooth blanket, right? So making a smooth, kind of comfortable cushion for yourself. And what we'll set up into here is butterfly pose, but we're going to do it like slightly differently than I sometimes teach it. So butterfly pose, of course, our feet are together, knees are apart, but today we're going to bias it so the feet are a little closer in as opposed to further out, which is how I often teach it here. This is where blocks could be helpful, so please remember you should never feel anything weird going on in your knees. If you do, you can always prop them up or back the legs out a bit if you need to. Otherwise, using blocks under the hands can be great for regulating your fold. So we're going to take a gentle inhale breath here. We'll exhale to ease forwards, to find that edge, to find our fold. And just remember this idea that you only want to come deep enough into the pose to feel the effects, but not so deep that those effects become sharp or intense. You can relax the spine, but make sure there's enough length that it doesn't feel like you're hunched or collapsed. And again, here can be a great place to let the breath guide you through. Feel the sense of expanding, really growing into the shape as you inhale. Feel the sense of releasing, the sense of softening as you exhale. Mindfulness of the breath is a complete practice. If you only practice that, it could take you through the whole journey of awakening. It's one of many practices I discuss in my free course that I work with my private students. So again, please check that out. Please send me a message if you'd like to learn more. But otherwise, as you feel the waves of breath move, let them create that subtle sense of shifting or evolving. Just let this deep, even breath regulate your nervous system, really help to keep you in a greater sense of balance. Pause and breathe. And truly remember that we can always come back to that idea as many times as we need to. Just take a pause. Just take a breath. You'll be right back here in this present moment. From here, take a final complete breath like you are. Slowly use your inhale breath, rise up. And take a moment, relax the shoulders and neck. Take a moment to extend your legs, let them relax and let them release as well. And from here, you're going to find your way all the way onto your back. So you can clear out the runway and lie down nice and flat on the floor and just be comfortable here. Feel really open, feel really spacious, and feel the waves of breath energy, which in general should move pretty freely here when we're in this neutral shape. So just be aware of that. Just connect with that for yourself here. Take a deep inhale breath through the nose. Open up the mouth, exhale, and let that out. Feel that wave of calm. Again, this familiar reset we've done a number of times today. Here on our back, we're going to end the sequence, as I often do, with a pair of twists. So you can walk in your legs, you'll have your knees bent, maybe come into just a natural sway, natural shift here. And to set up for your twist, please cross your left leg over top of the right. Here in the middle, you'll take a gentle inhale. And slowly, as you exhale, roll the legs over to the right. You can open your left shoulder out onto the floor, relax it there. Let the body settle and truly respond to the pose. Tune in and feel the breath with a slight kind of deepening, slight intentionality to it. Especially in a twist, we'll notice just how affected the breath is, right? So it's going to be an interesting experience for sure. So just let yourself pause and breathe. Use the breath to calm, to balance the body and the mind. Pause and breathe as much as is needed. For now, though, we'll come back into the center so you can inhale to draw that in and release the legs. Take a little sway, take a little shift, and again, pause and breathe, right? That's our focus. But really feel that here. Really connect with that here. Start to set up our second side. So from here, you can cross your right leg on the top. And there, you'll take a gentle inhale breath. With your exhale, you can slowly roll over across to the left, dialing in that twist. Again, you'll want to place the right shoulder, that right arm on the floor, somewhere beside you. You can let it unravel. You can let it ring out. And as the body unravels, as it settles, be aware. Notice the sensations of the breath. Invite the breath to be a little bit more full. Continue to pause and breathe to feel that deep connection here in this moment. Take a final complete breath like you are. Slowly wind in the legs and release. And take a moment to sway, to shift. Having paused here for a few moments, just thinking about your final pose for today. Now you could remain here on your back, maybe setting up for Shavasana, maybe extending nice and long onto the floor. Or what I'm going to recommend for today is to actually press yourself up and to end like we started in a seated meditation. And we're just going to be here for a couple minutes, but I feel like this could be a nice way to really balance out the practice and to get a final chance to really feel the breath. So keep in mind you can do this on your back too, but if you're going to go for seated, just like we did in the beginning, make sure you feel comfortable and grounded. In either pose, close the eyes. And I'd like to invite here just for a final minute or so, or final couple minutes. Immerse yourself in the breath. And you can deepen the breath. That's fine for this work. Taking a final nice long pause to connect with the breath energy here. And so wherever you set up here, take a final few moments and again, feel what is rebalanced through this pause. If you're already in seated, just remain here. But if you're on your back, take a few moments to find your way up. You can slowly press your way up. And all of us here together, a final moment to connect in, to really feel the benefits this practice has given us, to feel what comes from this work of pausing, of working with our breath. And please join the hands in front of the heart. So again, and as always, my thanks to each of you for sharing your practice. May our practice bring benefit to all beings. We bow. So once again, and as always, thank you so very much for joining. And like always, if you have thoughts or questions, reflections, let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you are not already. And again, if you want to go deeper into this work of Yin Yoga, meditation, all of these practices combined, check out my free course, The Embodied Mindfulness Method, in the description down below.